Man, what a wild finish to the semifinals of the college football playoffs.
Here we go!
We're here about 2 to 5 minutes after the Texas Longhorns game and Washington Huskies game, and we're about to do live reactions. I'm going to start with you over there, Mike. How'd you feel about the Texas-Washington game?
It was a good game, very entertaining. Came down to it right there at the end. Obviously, Penix is deadly lethal tonight, which was the difference in the game.
Yep.
Completions were crazy, 29 for 38, 430 yards, 2 touchdowns, and I think that was the crucial difference that was the outcome of the game. Quinn, 43 attempts, 24 completions, so just over 50% there, 318 yards, 1 touchdown. So, I think that's a touchdown short and probably 6 to 10 completions needed to stay competitive there towards the end of that game.
Yeah, and one of the things was that third quarter for Texas was a huge struggle for them.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed to struggle to find anything offensively, and you've seen it in the first half, but luckily with Washington's turnovers and our running game, it kept us in it. We went into the half 21-21.
Mm-hmm.
And we both picked the Longhorns to win before the game, and unfortunately they couldn't pull it out. But if Texas would have pulled that out, that Washington coach would have been under a lot of heat because of you could have kneeled it 3 times and left Texas 15 seconds on the clock.
And
that was
dramatic
wild.
ending would never have happened.
No,
if they just nailed it out.
Yeah, it was a wild game for sure. And
what's interesting about that is I couldn't tell if they were legitimately. Because if you're going to do that, if you're not just going to kneel it out, are you actively calling plays in an attempt to get a first down and just end the game right there? Because you're kind of risking things unnecessarily. Because the plays they were calling and the effort that was being given by the players on those plays that were called didn't seem like they were pushing to actually try to get a first down there. So it was just kind of a weird thing altogether.
They were looking to end the game. It was aggressive play calling. You can't predict injuries. No one would have said, "Oh wow, he gets hurt." They were looking for a run to bust and for them to kneel the game out and end it. They didn't want to go back on defense and have like what Texas did.
Sure.
It took one play and all of a sudden everyone's like on their edge of their seat because Texas may pull it off all of a sudden. So just a dramatic ending in a totally opposite game from the Michigan-Alabama game. And I know that you and I beforehand had talked about it, and I picked Alabama and you picked Michigan. And it looked for a minute there in that second half that Alabama was going to pull it off, and then there goes J.J. McCarty and that Michigan team run it right down their throat in overtime and winning it. I mean, what was your reaction to that game as well?
Well, I definitely think that Michigan is a team that is obviously well coached, and they're a team. There's unity in the group. They know how to play well with each other. They've had great success all year, and you look at Alabama, started out a little questionable, but I think as far as teams go, the growth that team showed from where they started and where they ended up, they just weren't quite as polished as Michigan was and ready and prepared. So obviously I think the most deserving team won in that game. And it was fun, but I think you said it best earlier when you said, the Michigan-Alabama game was a chess match between two of the best coaches ever in college football, and that's what it was. It was a calculated battle, back and forth, very exciting to watch, fun game. And the Texas-Washington game was just a punch-out. It was like whoever was going to get the top grapple first and just hold the other one to the mat. Texas fought back as best they can, and it was exciting, and they had their chance. And I'm always a fan of if you lose, but you had the opportunity to legitimately win the game and you just couldn't pull it off, I can live with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not ever getting the ball back and not having that chance to do something and have control of your own outcome. I hate that, but as much as I wanted to see the Longhorns win, they just couldn't get it together there at the end.
Yeah, it's crazy because they were down in that red zone twice, and the first time they had to kick the field goal because you want to keep yourself alive in the game, and it's like, what if by some chance that they do score that touchdown there, and then all of a sudden, things would have not played out the same, but you would have maybe got a chance for that field goal because obviously the deep play happened.
Right.
It's crazy how the game of inches got them. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
turnovers were a huge thing, and what a great semifinal
Right.
matchup for
Yeah.
both of these games. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the college football committee got right. I think the only thing that after watching a couple of these bowl games
Yeah.
is that maybe they could have slid Georgia in.
Right.
But
Right.
I think they were both pretty good games.
Yeah, all four teams were good, and it's just one team made fewer mistakes and played crisper, and when you're at this level and these are the best teams in the country, that's what makes the difference in the game. What was it by the end of the game? 12 penalties, some drop passes, a couple sketchy play calls, and you lose, even though you're more than adequately talented to be in the championship game. It's just in today's game you didn't get it done.
Yeah, it wasn't in the
cards. It
cards.
wasn't in the cards,
Yeah.
so there's nothing you can do about that. But entertaining.
Yeah. So you have any final thoughts for any of these two games before we wrap it up?
Go Michigan.
Go Michigan. So you hear it here first. I'm gonna go for Michigan. He's gonna go for Michigan. We'll probably do a pregame video for the Michigan game, just to get our thoughts on it. Maybe do some research. Reactions afterwards, and we're also going to look to do for Wildcard Weekend our first live stream. So if you're interested, subscribe. We'll probably work on some social medias. Tune in for our episodes. And until next time, I'm Slater. This is Mike, and we're the Game Plan.